And next to me, I have Vivienne. Welcome, Vivienne.
Thank you.
To give a bit of an introduction on Vivienne, let me just share that she is the Chief Financial Officer for the Port of Rotterdam since July 1st, 2019. And she oversees finance, treasury, tax, procurement, facilities, IT, digital solutions, and perhaps most interestingly, or why we invited you here today, innovation. So there's quite a few responsibilities that you oversee.
Yes, there are, exactly.
Yeah. And how has it been kind of getting on board, coming up to speed? We chatted a bit that you come from KPM, from RTL, so you're bringing a lot of really interesting cross-industry expertise in. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. The sector was unknown to me, but it's an amazing sector to be in. It's very physical. You can see it, you can touch it. And I was flabbergasted by the impact you can make being in such a role, being the Port of Rotterdam, which is the European energy hub for the whole of Europe, or at least the northeastern part, and where we really can make a difference. And yeah, it's amazing to be there and to make a difference.
Did you ever imagine you would be working in this role for the Port of Rotterdam, or was that a dream come true, or just something that arrived?
Well, maybe I should say it was my dream job.
Yeah.
And it is now.
It's being recorded, so we should say
yes,
that.
Exactly. No, I really enjoy it, especially because of the challenges we have there, and that I can tip in, making a difference. There's a huge climate ambition there, and I think in this industry and in this exact area we can make a difference, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah. I really feel like in Rotterdam and globally, all eyes are on entities like the Port of Rotterdam to be leading in digitalization, in climate change. And a key thing we're talking about today is growth and scale, and how small companies, startups, scale-ups can connect with organizations like the Port of Rotterdam or the amazing companies that are in the Port of Rotterdam and work together. And so I'm curious how you think about how the Port of Rotterdam is collaborating with startups and scale-ups. What are the methods you guys use to connect with small companies and connect on innovations like that?
Yeah, that's a good question because there are different ways to do that. But let me start by that we don't do innovation just for the sake of innovation. We do it to make this port the sustainable port, the smartest port, not only now but also in the future, because a lot of things are changing. Over half of our current income is coming from fossil fuels, which we don't want, and we have a very short time together with our partners, together with our customers, to make that change. And we use innovations to do that. Some of them we do ourselves. Some of them we create our own startups. But what we prefer to do is partner with other stakeholders and also search for start and scale-ups who are already having the ideas, bringing the innovations, or already have done pilots to show what they can offer and bring to the port. And that is what we do a lot. So we don't do it alone. We do it in an ecosystem, and we use different parties for that.
Yeah. What is the ideal stage startup to come and talk to you? So you mentioned a pilot, so you probably want some proof of concept. Do they have to be making revenue? Does the team need to be a certain size where it really kind of reaches a point where it works to collaborate?
We evaluate on a case-by-case basis. So it's not necessary to already be making revenues or already have done a pilot. You can do that with us. But there is one crucial thing that we really ask for, is that you need to be very sharp on the proposition you bring. What does it solve? Which problem do you tackle? And does that fit in what our customers want for the port, or what we want? So you need to be clear in your proposition. And then the status you're in, that's not important.
That's helpful to know. I know we have some entrepreneurs in the audience, and I think we probably also have some corporates watching and interested to hear you say that you guys start your own startups internally. I think that's a thing a lot of big companies struggle with, how to innovate internally. What's the process that you use? Does that start with someone somewhere having a brilliant idea and then organizing resources around, or is it a more structured approach?
No, it has different ways, and not all of them very efficient or effective. I agree. But it does start with either a value proposition we see in the market or an omission in a chain, because we are a chain of things in the logistic and marine markets. And if we see an omission, then the idea starts, well, if we connect ourselves, then we can make sure the chain is becoming better and it has more value. So sometimes it's because of an omission and sometimes for a value proposition.
Okay. And have you seen times when it has failed? What do you think was the reason that internal innovation didn't work? The proposition wasn't there or resources weren't there?
Well, sometimes it was opportunistic and maybe too far ahead of the troops.
Yeah.
That was in some of them, or that we take too long to make it the best proposition, and then the market walks away from you, and it's already there. So we've seen both sides.
That's great. So we touched briefly on digitization and the energy transition. I'm curious how much the Port of Rotterdam looks at other ports to compare how you're doing. Are you setting your own goals yourself? How are you thinking about your strategy for these two areas, and how aggressive is the focus on this right now?
Well, very much so. We have a corporate strategy which has three priorities, two of them being the leader in sustainability, a leader in being the accelerator. In the Netherlands alone, almost 13% of all carbon dioxide is produced here.
Wow.
So the best place...
1-3 or 3-0?
1-3.
Okay.
But it's still a lot.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to make sure that we are the accelerator to make sure it comes down quickly. We even have our own ambitions to do it quicker than 2030, but we can't do it alone. And that's the key. Let's say also in innovation, you need to do it together. Because I can ask Shell or BP to leave the premises, which I won't do, don't worry.
Don't worry, Shell.
But it's we need to do it together and to make sure that we accelerate what our ambitions are and make sure that they are being realized. And that's what we're doing right now. So it is the core of our strategy, accelerating the energy transition. And the other one is putting digitalization into the logistics chain and making sure we are the smart partner for our customers. And sometimes we develop our own digital tools or a digital platform, for instance, Portbase, which is the port community system, which makes it seamless and paperless to communicate with the Port Authority. And sometimes we use other partners to make sure it's smooth planning, port calls, the services in the market.
Yeah. It must be an interesting position to be in where your clients and partners, you need to incentivize them to also be thinking about the energy transition. Can you say more about any specific ways the Port of Rotterdam is trying to do that? Like, what does it look like to work with a Shell and say, how do we do this better together?
Well, it actually works pretty good because they want it themselves too.
Right.
And not only since the latest news on that they got into a fight, but it's they've already done this. They are doing a lot of innovations. But what we do see is that they're pairing up more and more instead of being in competition and trying to keep everybody out. They're looking to cooperate more than ever before.
Really great. So speaking of collaborations, I understand you guys have worked with a couple scale-ups. T Mining was one, and I4C. Can you share any interesting things about these collaborations or what this work has been?
Yeah, T Mining is about the safe opening of containers. I think everybody has seen. We got a lot of uithalers. I don't know the English.
I don't know that one either. Outhaulers?
And what it entails is that we want to prevent that the employees working on the premises of the terminals or in our company that they are being asked to, in turn for money, to give the codes to the terminals. And this is a blockchain-based secure way to open up the containers. So that's a good pilot. And the other one, I4C, is it is a pilot still, which has ability to forecast weather conditions and not only the weather conditions of our own weather stations, but it has a machine learning item in it which is making the prognosis better. And it's not only the weather conditions, but also the tides, and it has everything. So it's really promising.
Really cool. And do you know how you found them? Did they approach you? Did someone in the company reach out to them?
I'm not sure, but I think they are through Port Excel, which
Okay.
is one of the accelerators that we sponsor.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know Port Excel, amazing innovation startup accelerator focused on port. And maybe we have some folks from Port Excel. Hey, hello in the back. Welcome. Bringing in international startups as well. It's been a really impressive addition to the Rotterdam ecosystem. I think we have time for one last question, and then perhaps can do a question from the audience. To me, it's fascinating that innovation is sitting under the CFO. That hasn't been a structure that I've seen in a lot of organizations. Was that a conscious choice from the port? Or are you just the best woman for the job? Talk to us about why that structure exists in this company.
Now, I'm not sure how it was set up because it was like that when I joined 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But in practice, we have a three-person board, and we all three are sponsoring innovation. So I'm not doing it by myself.
Got it.
For instance, Allard Kastelein is also a big promoter of innovation worldwide. So
Okay.
yeah.
So it's a team effort.
Yes, exactly.
It's good to have everyone at the top focused on innovation.
Yes, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.